USC legend, Grey Cup champion, NFL quarterback, and BattleBots host.
Here's Sean Salisbury.
I like the tone of the voice guy.
You don't like that?
That's like when he says BattleBots. So like, oh, what's he doing? Like, I don't know. I take that as borderline disrespectful. And Sean and I've talked about this before. That was one of the best times. That was one of the best gigs ever. Other than, of course, his weekly appearances on this program.
That's right.
Every Tuesday. Joining us right now, fresh off his show in Houston, the one, the only, the lovely, the talented Sean Salisbury. Good morning, buddy.
Yeah, good to be on with you guys. I'm with you. You know, I mean, the fools better recognize about BattleBots.
That's right. Fools better recognize. Hey, yeah, that was a blast.
I'm about to knock the tone right out of his voice on that.
Well, let me ask you this. If you knocked the tone out of his voice, the way things are going right now, would he get flagged for roughing you as a quarterback?
He would get flagged for roughing me, and Draymond Green would back off.
Well done.
It's always awesome to talk to you, Sean. But these are the times where you can have Freddie McGibbleholter, analyst, weighing in who's never laced him up. It's nice to have somebody not only that was in the locker room, but also played under center. So one would think, and maybe you are, that you're more on the side of the quarterback here. I got a feeling I know where you come down. What is the NFL doing wrong?
Well, number one is we were way too overprotective. I don't know one, Dave, quarterback that I've talked to, current or past, who thinks these rules are good for football. And they're getting worse every year. I've said Dave, we've talked about it for years, the integrity of the game. I understand safety. Nobody wants what happened to Tua or anybody else to get hurt. But there's also an element, we do play tackle football. And when Tony Dungy and current players like Micah Parsons and Warren Moon on Twitter are talking about, and quarterbacks are saying this ain't working, this ain't it, it's crazy. You can't, a regular tackle, I don't care if it's the quarterback or not, they're the stars and the high-paid guys, it's still football. Violent hits that are illegal, you got to flag them. If we're going to do this, we got to start instant replay and being able to challenge a quarterback roughing call. But the question is, will the people in the booth look at it as, here's the rule, man. If you just brush by him or forearm shiver him, you're getting flagged. We're to the point, the integrity of tackle football, especially at that position, we're losing it. We are one step or one fingernail away from literally putting red jerseys, and it's no longer a joke. It's actually serious now, and I want to protect it, but it is. Because we are not playing tackle football, and we're sure as hell not doing it from that position.
Now, Sean, I'd be curious on your perspective on this. When you played, I don't know how to word this. What would give you what would you fear? And you can't play the position fear-based, but in this ruling, it seemed like, hey, we're trying to protect the quarterback from a 300-pound lineman falling on a quarterback. What hit bothered you the most? What gave you the most concern? Is it the guy falling on you? Is it a blindside hit? I mean, what's the scariest hit for a QB?
For me, it's the hits in the pocket, number one. Outside the pocket, we got more visual, and you can run to pocket areas and get down. So it's usually not the big hits unless you're coming out to take on three linebackers, which I'm sure all of us have done at one point in our career, and you learn a valuable lesson. The big hits have always come from the pocket. For me, I feared everything, throwing it to the wrong team, getting hit by somebody, but because it sucks when you throw it to the wrong team. In truth, you can't fear anything if you're a pocket guy because you know you're going to get hit. But I know what you're saying. What's the most vicious? To me, I didn't want the guy to hit me down. I'd shredded my knee twice. Just keep it from 5 pads up. I mean, I've got scars underneath my chin from stitches from being hit with the crown of a helmet underneath. Most guys I know that played a little older school have that scar underneath from taking a helmet to the chin. Mm-hmm. And that, that rocks you and your jaw feels like it's and knees, which happened early and not intentional when I was in college. But for me, it was always, if you're hitting like from hamstrings to the upper part of your back between your shoulder blades, that was not a problem. But the ones that you couldn't see because, quite frankly, you didn't know when to anticipate it, but you also were more relaxed then. the one that's coming, you tighten up, and there is an art to relaxing your body to be able to, like shock absorbers. It's weird, but it's true. But I think the one staring down the gun barrel, when you know a guy's bearing down and you have to deliver the ball, it's at the point of no return, like a yellow light. You're going through it. Dude, I got to go. And they put on the extra gear, and you know you're getting hit under the chin. Those were the ones that, I guess, because the head, and you're like, whoa, where am I? But I didn't want the season ender down by my legs. And in the pocket was always more dangerous.
Sean Salisbury with us. Sean, you not only are a football fan, but a big-time Raider fan. So I got to ask you. In fact, I'll even read you. I was going to ask you anyways, but somebody texted me and said, please ask Sean, excuse me, he's on our YouTube chat, please ask Sean if Josh McDaniels should be fired. I'm not going to ask you that, but I'm going to ask you, how would you grade him so far this year?
Well, he shouldn't be fired, but I can tell you this. At the beginning and some of the things I see Josh McDaniels in over his head again as a head coach, and I hate saying it because he's and one thing people have to understand, it's 3 layers, guys. I've seen position coaches that are great at X's and O's that aren't great play callers, and the opposite, great play caller, not a great X's and O's guy. I've seen the guy who's a great play caller and not a great head coach. And right now, the 2 times around, it fits Josh McDaniel. I don't know some of the things, what he's thinking. I'm seeing it with Staley in Los Angeles with the Chargers. He's going to cost his team a trip to the Super Bowl or playoffs if he keeps it up.
Yeah.
With the I see it all the time. We see it out. Heck, I don't know what's getting into the Western teams. Nathaniel Hackett, same way. He looks like a guy who's never seen a head coach operate on the sidelines a day in his friggin' life. With McDaniels, no, I'm not firing him. He's a C-D right now. And I like Josh, great play caller. But 2 things that stick out to me just in last night. There is absolutely no metric, analytic evidence that tells me. And that they should have gone for it, you got to tie the score. That's where the pressure comes. If there was 30 seconds in the game and you're exhausted and you want to get out of Kansas City, go for 2 points. There's nothing on a piece of paper or in anybody that's sane and has a football IQ above 4, which I know Josh does, but I don't know what he's thinking. Oh, the team bought in. Of course they did. Everybody wants to go for it. Everybody wants to have that macho. You got 4:34, 4:27 to go. You still got to play the game. So what was the advantage of having a 1-point lead? Just that it put more pressure on Mahomes to have to go score? Well, if you tied it, they would have had to go score. Got brain fog, and what in the hell are you thinking? For a coach, I don't know, Dave, and I know I'm getting frustrated. I don't know when you go into a game in a week of practice, you ask your players to prepare for situations. And then when the situation comes up, do you expect them to be ready? Yet I see constantly NFL coaches who aren't taking hits on the game don't know how to operate and manage the sidelines or a 4th and 1 call or when to go for it. I don't get it and where their preparation is. It was a stupid call. It cost the Raiders, and the players deserved better, and the players should have known better. If I was Derek Carr, I'd argued with him. Coach, why? We got 4 minutes left. We're moving the ball fine. They're moving it fine. We're going to get another shot. Let's tie this thing up and hope our defense gets off the field. And their 4th down call and 4th and 1.5, throwing a fade route that is not a high percentage. Get me the first down. It was I don't understand from my living room, from the sideline, or with his headset on, why in the hell you're making some of the calls. The call to not tie the game was absolutely pitiful. And that's a firing offense, you'd say.
Yeah.
But it's way too early to fire the guy right now. I'll give him a D if he's lucky, a C- if he passes one test.
All right, Sean gives him a D, and that will wrap up the segment. Sean Salisbury each and every week, just after 8 o'clock at 8:13, the fastest 15 minutes in all of sports talk radio. Sean, you're the best, my man. We'll talk to you in a week. Thank you.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate it.